So last night I just finished watching Fan4STIC or Fantastic. Um, and this movie takes place in 2007. Now, here's my inner theory. This is not an inner theory that anyone come up with. This is a theory that I came up with. Ironically, they made Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer in 2007, where we had Reed Richards and Ben Grimm and probably Johnny Storm and Sue Storm over here as little kids in 2007 because they show Ben Grimm and Reed as little kids. Now, in another universe, we have all these people all grown up and they're saving the world in the year of 2007 from the Silver Surfer. But in this universe, they were just little kids and they might have probably heard of them doing that. I don't know. But anyways, this takes place in 2007. We see Ben Grimm and Reed. Reed has failed, didn't understand the assignment, the little thing, a little meme or a little joke that you didn't understand the assignment thing. Yeah, he didn't understand the assignment where he has to find out a real career and they didn't think that interdimensional travel is not a real the teacher didn't feel that was a real like a job or accomplishment that you can do in real life. So a couple years later, when he was in high school, Sue Storm and her dad come and visit Ben Grimm and Reed and did the science fair project with the same thing that he was working on as a little kid because he Ben Grimm showed him as a little kid because Ben Grimm's family owns like they owned a garage and he didn't get mistreated as a little kid from his brothers. And as a little kid, they created a bond, and he had a whole bunch of these Nintendo 64s, and they made interdimensional travel happen. And boom, bada bang, right? Then high school comes, Sue Storm comes with her dad, and they saw what he could Reed and Ben Grimm does, and then they invited Reed to go to the Baxter Building, not owned by Reed, but owned by the government, but not owned by Reed, right? So different universe. This is kind of Fox 26th Century Fox's Sony verse version of Fantastic Four. That's what it feels like. It feels more like a Sony movie. It's a 20, 20, a 20th Century Fox movie. So it's a Sony version of it though. You invite Reed there, and he works with Sue, and then they bring Victor on Victor Von Doom on staff, even though Victor Von Doom actually kind of um let's say was working on their staff and betrayed them for a little while. I don't know really the story behind that, but they do a very good Victor Von Doom in here. Not saying that the Victor Von Doom in the 2005 one and 2007 one wasn't good. I just like the fact that they made him pretty different and unique in this. Um, but you can see from here they made all the characters different and unique. Um, and they find out interdimensional travel. It works because Johnny gets on Storm with it as well with the rest of the gang because he crashed his car that he built from himself uh by himself for racing like kind of like Fast and Furious. But you can also tell he's going to be the fire character, the Human Torch, or the fire character, or the Man on Fire, or the Human Torch by having a fire flower in his little rearview mirror. Like that's not a Easter egg. I know this has been an old movie, but like when you saw it in theaters, that's not an Easter egg, is it? Oh yeah, it's a clear Easter egg, you know? And they did test up. They built the whole machine. All of them built the machine with Victor Von Doom. They sent him a chimpanzee to another planet, Planet Zero, to Earth, back again, and then as they're Johnny Storm, Victor, Reed get drunk. They get drunk. They said, "Let's go to Planet Zero tonight." And they go on the machine, and that's how they got their powers. Like he got a whole bunch of rocks on him. Ben Grimm had like a bunch of rocks on him. Learns how his body stretches out. She gets hit by the blast and becomes invisible, and he becomes Human Torch. Now, the only one person that didn't come back with him is Victor Von Doom, but Victor Von Doom pretty much has the same powers he did in the 2005, 2007 one, but more amplified. And I kind of like how his powers looked in the suit, his like tridimensional suit, dimension suit blends with him, and makes him have the helmet blends onto his face to actually make him be more like Doctor Doom, how he looks without taking off the helmet like they did in other 20th Century Fox movies. And then Sue, Johnny Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm work for the government, and then Reed goes off and tries to find a way to help out Ben, but he also doesn't know if he could help him out because he's no help to him. They go on separate missions. They're also going to get prep the Human Torch to do missions, and Ben Grimm ends up finding Reed, and then things start going haywire because they rebuilt the machine. They send people back out there, and Victor Von Doom comes in. Victor Von Doom opens up a big giant portal, and then they had to be forced to work as a team. And then at the end, they get their name, Fantastic Four. Now, reason why I said this very fast and very briefly, because most people have seen this movie already. And if you haven't, like I said, it's the Sony version of 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four. It's not the greatest, it's not the best. The first, like I said, like I'm going to repeat, 2000, 2005, 2007 were the best Fantastic Four movies we got so far. Now, this new one that we're going to have, um, First Steps. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Um, but also what the other two Fantastic Four movies from the other, like this one and the 2005, 2007, and this one right here, you get people like Chris Evans and then Michael B. Jordan, and you get them to play the Human Torch. Both of them play Human Torches, and then they go off and play different projects. So you get Chris Evans to play Captain America, and he plays Captain America all the way through Endgame. Then you get Michael B. Jordan to come back for the MCU and becomes Killmonger, and then he becomes Killmonger in the first Black Panther and the second one, even though he's dead in the second movie. But his Human Torch was different from Chris Evans, but they're both equally almost the same. But if you had to ask me who's one of my favorite Human Torch is for right now, it's always going to be Chris Evans. For sure, always going to be Chris Evans until I see the new one. And then the second underneath that is Michael B. Jordan, of course. Then you have Michael B. Jordan doing these other movies like Fruitvale Station, now Sinners, which is really big and popular. Charles Miller has done other movies. And these other two actors that play these two characters right here, I haven't seen them in anything. But for Human Torches, they went off and played different roles, and they've also been in different movies. And he's in a big movie called Sinners that just came out on Blu-ray and DVD, and he's also going to spin off verse, and then probably do a sequel. So like Michael B. Jordan's like cool. He also did Creed and all that stuff like that. So he had a big giant career after this. Um, But this one again is like a Sony version of 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four. It's kind of giving you what you want, but also some different because these characters weren't against each other. They weren't working together. These characters weren't working together like the 2004 one, 2007 one. They were working against each other. Reed got scared and he couldn't help them out, and they all like, "Oh, why you were here?" Like when she shows back up, "Why you here? Oh, you left us." Blah blah blah, and then they use Ben Grimm as a secret weapon for the military, and then they're about to train them to use them as secret weapons. Reed is the only one that got out, and this Fantastic Four is a little bit different. They didn't get working together towards the end of the movie to defeat Doom because Doom was trying to destroy Earth because Planet Zero was his Earth, not Liberia. Not like the other movies, not like the other movie where Liberia was his home. Um, So there's different elements to this movie. Now, there's people that might like this movie. I love elements of this movie. The elements I loved about this movie is a different look for the Thing. I did love the different look for the Thing. The Thing actually looked like a real rock creature monster instead of like a guy in a suit like the Ninja Turtles, and the Human Torch still looked like Chris Evans' Human Torch, except it was actually more the flames are more bright and more vibrant. And his stretching was shown a lot more in this than the other one. And she actually has a voice of a force field you can actually see. The other movie, it's just um, Jessica Alba is just clear. It's cool seeing her clear, but she actually has blue invisible power around her when she turns invisible. But she doesn't completely turn invisible. So like it's just a little bit different. Now, also Sue Storm is the one that's adopted. You would think that Sue Storm wouldn't be adopted, but she's adopted. So out of the Storm family in this one, she's the only white person you see. And Ben Grimm is also white, but like once he's covered with rocks, I mean he's brown. I mean obviously he's brown, and you have the only black guy on the team, which is, interesting nonetheless. But there's nothing against that. It's just that Storm family was black. But everything else is perfectly fine as a story structure and everything. It's just they were against each other the whole time, and that's not what the Fantastic Four is. The Fantastic Four, they're a family, and that's what the new one's doing. They're actually a family, no matter what. Like, Johnny and Sue Storm are the only people that are actually family. The other two, Ben Grimm and Reed Richards, are just well, in some iterations, Sue is dating um Reed, so that's or married or dating or married. It depends on what iteration of comics you read. They're a couple, and then these two are just since that's her family, they become friends, and those two are just there. They're there, but they also become a bond of a family. They're a family nonetheless. They're also good teammates. Also, they're like the very first. I mean, I for when I first got introduced to the Fantastic Four before Avengers and all that stuff like that, I only knew the Fantastic Four as the first ever team in Marvel Comics. Now, knowing that there's also Avengers, West Coast Avengers, and a whole bunch of different other teams and the Marvels and Marvel Universe, like Illuminati and all stuff, that it doesn't really matter at this point. And this point, I from the when I first originally learned about Fantastic Four, they were the only team that I knew that was the first team. That's why the new one's gonna be called the First Steps because they're the first official family. But Fantastic Four, a family nonetheless, and this movie didn't show that, and that's pretty much it. All I have to say about this. It's still a good film. But if you're a true Fantastic Four fan, you're not going to get them sticking together. You're going to get them against each other. Um, and even the title of this, they put the four right in the middle of fan and fantastic. So it's Fan4STIC, not Fantastic Four. Fan4STIC. So every other person that known about this movie or seen this movie calls it Fan4STIC instead of Fantastic Four like the other ones. So if you like Fan4STIC, this is a most positive review I can give it off of. If you don't like it, there are some of the negatives in here too. So yeah, there's things for everyone. But if you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This has been Fantastic Four Stick. Not Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four Stick review. Put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces.